Okay.
Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift up the sidewall of your nose
Oh, well. Okay.
while you're breathing in. Go ahead, breathe in. Out. Try it now. Okay, not a whole lot different, right? Breathe in. Out. In. Okay, I checked the competency of what they call an inner valve, which is a little piece of cartilage in here. And some people, when they inhale, it collapses a little bit and air doesn't get in. That's not your issue.
Okay.
Your issue is that your septum looks like a serpent, okay? And if you look at a nose, it's a pyramid. Take your hand like this.
Okay.
That's the septum, right?
Mhm.
And the two side walls come like this, and your septum is like this, it's bent. So it narrows the airway. And then on the side wall, there's these little shelves that stick out called turbinates, and they're pressing up against the septum, decreasing the size of the opening where the air flows in, okay? If you look at a person who does not have a problem with their septum, they can breathe through their nose when they're reading a book, when they're watching TV, when they're doing light exercise. If they do something strenuous or they have sex or something, they breathe through their mouth because they need more air,
Right, right.
okay? And some people think if you have a obstructed nose, once you take that cartilage and straighten it out, you're gonna breathe like you can through your open mouth. You'll still have to open your mouth if you're working out hard or something like that. But for just sitting around reading a book, watching TV, you shouldn't have to open your mouth every once in a while to get a breath because you're not getting enough in through your nose, or you shouldn't have to struggle to get it in, kind of thing. That's what we can do. That's called a septoplasty with a turbinate resection, okay? And that's what we do to fix the inside. The outside of your nose looks pretty good, you know?
Oh, it's big, but thanks.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some people have big bumps or something, they
Right,
can
right.
fix that at the same time, but
Got it.
but we can just fix your inside without touching your outside, unless
Okay.
unless you have an issue with the outside.
No, I think breathing is my primary.
Yeah, that's basically the thing I would fix. When we're done, I'll have Joe or Patricia, somebody give you the information, what it costs and how things work. And if you have insurance, tell them I have no idea how that works. That's not my department or
Right.
anything. They'll tell you how that works.
It's probably gonna be out of pocket.
Usually.
It's a specialized
Yeah. But let them explain it to you,
That's
because
cool.
I honestly
Okay.
don't know that stuff.
Okay.
And in the future, you will have my email address, you'll have my cell phone number. If you have any questions about your nose, about the medical end, about the anesthesia, the medications you get, call me anytime. Don't call them, because they're just gonna send the call to me anyway.
Okay.
But if you have a question about insurance and costs and scheduling and billing and stuff like that, contact them directly, because I don't know anything about that stuff, kind of thing. They'll give you very detailed information sheets on noses. Please read everything. I will send you an email that'll include a bunch of links and attachments. Read everything. If you have any issues, reach out to me. You can call me, email me, text me. I email way better than I text, because I text with one finger. It takes me forever.
Got it.
She knows. She laughs at me when I hold the computer.
Yeah.
But get your questions answered, and then any time that you want to go ahead, you and Joe pick a date. When you have a date, the only thing that changes before the procedure, you want to absolutely stay away from aspirin and Advil and any combination medicines that have those in them. Some of the cold medicines, sleeping medicines, period cramp medicines, they have some Advil in it, or they have some aspirin. Yeah, and if you have a pain someplace, you can take all the Tylenol you want, because that does not affect clotting. And after surgery, you can take aspirin, Advil, whatever you want. But I'm just saying, just leading up to the surgery for those 2 weeks before, don't take it.
Got it.
Because if you do, you're going to end up getting more bruising and more swelling and harder to control your bleeding and so forth.
Got it.
On surgery day, you will show up in this building, but not in this suite. You should go to Suite A, which is one closest to the street. And you have to show up with an empty stomach. No tea, no coffee, no milk, zero in your stomach. There they'll start an IV, they'll put you in a robe. I'll come and answer any questions. The anesthesiologist will answer questions. And then once we're ready to go, they're going to give you a combination of sedatives in your vein to completely knock you out. You know, people sometimes hear sedation, they think they're half awake, half asleep. You're out.
Got it.
But they're not giving you narcotics or gases. And that way you're very lightly out. And I get away with that because whether I do noses or eyes or faces or breasts or tummies, I'm working the outside layers, not inside where the joints are and brains are and stuff like that. And we can numb up everything with the local anesthesia before we make our first cut.
Got it.
So I completely numb that nose up so that if you were wide awake, nothing would hurt. But you probably freak out sit there with little hooks in your nose and pounding away kind of a thing.
Intense.
Yeah, a little intense. So we just keep you asleep until it's over, but it's just very likely to sleep with sedatives. And the important part there is when you wake up kind of quickly, and your head's clear by the time you're going home. You know, you can't drive, somebody else has to drive you home and stuff like that. Somebody should be with you the rest of the day, but you're not going to be groggy like, I don't know if you ever had any general anesthesia for hernias or knee joints or something. You wake up, you're like groggy for the rest of the day. You won't be like that. You're going to wake up kind of quick. When you go home, what you want to do is take a face cloth, moisten it, put it across the top of your nose, and just put a pack of frozen peas or carrots or something on there, and keep it on there as much as you can during the day, on the day of surgery and the next day. 2 days later, it's not necessary, or 3 days later, I should say, but the first 2 days, just ice. And if you don't, you're just gonna swell more and bruise more. And starting the third, fourth day, you can basically do anything that does not help. I see you own a moving company. I wouldn't carry heavy boxes that first week, because you can just start bleeding again. You can collect checks. You can go talk to people, you know. People who do office work, they come back to work 3-4 days later, they're fine kind of a thing. But as far as lifting heavy stuff, I'll tell you when it doesn't hurt, but it'll probably be about 10 days before you lift heavy stuff, okay? Your nose will feel stuffy for up to 6 months for a couple of reasons. One is you have swelling from the surgery itself, and that takes a long time to go away. But also the air will be flowing differently inside your nose. Right now there's a big bend in it like that, and air goes around, and you know what happens when you put a stone in a water, like in a creek or something, it goes around and makes eddies, you know. So the air right now is making funny eddies behind the obstructing parts. You straighten it all out, and air just goes differently, and it irritates your mucosa, it makes it feel like it's like you had a cold, it runs a little bit and so forth, and it doesn't feel normal for about 4 or 6 months.
It's like you did bad coke for something.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I've never done bad or good coke.
It's all bad, sir.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
You asked me about a martini, I've had my share, but
There you go.
but I've never done any drugs.
Yeah, unfortunately, but that's why I'm happy to see you. And,
Yeah.
It's embarrassing to share,
But you don't have a hole in your septum, and that's good news.
What percent do you think that I'm restricted, would you say? If just like
80%.
I'm restricted 80%
Yeah, you're
on
not
one side? Or?
Yeah, 80, 60, you know, that kind of thing.
Roughly.
Yeah, but if you
That has a big effect on the rest of your body.
Sure, you're not getting as much oxygen in. But most people compensate by breathing through their mouth more.
Everybody knows me, says I'm a heavy breather.
Yeah.
Like you feel me like it's embarrassingly intense. Where my customer's like, you breathe heavy. And I'm like, I apologize.
Just tell them you're excited.
Yeah, it's a little intense sometimes.
Okay, sir, well, I'll send Joe in here next, and then look for my email, hang out in my email and cell phone number. Any questions, give me a call.
You're awesome.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.